This conference will now be recorded.
It's like the straight at Muse.
Take that TV, this TV, and you bring it together.
There's nothing moving.
Came in the center like Cowboy Stadium.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
There you go. Did you play?
I want to hang the pictures like right here.
Yeah.
That way everybody in the audience can see this side and you guys.
You have them back to back. Yeah, the two TVs, you don't have to buy.
Spotlight would be
And
on
you just
you.
put them back to back. You know?
Well, somebody would probably hit their head on one. That
No,
would
no,
be
they can be about five, I thought those were 7.2, you put them on.
I don't know, they're pretty big.
Why don't we just put this platform on rotation?
We'd have to build it, we'd have to build it,
Rotate the platform.
we'd have to build a fence around
Yeah.
it.
Or you could like, put a swivel.
Okay. Are we waiting on Rachel to do
Projections.
You got
Projections.
40 seconds. Unless that clock's all. I got 17:59 here. I got 34 seconds. in.
Yeah. Sometimes.
So what do you want to go
That's just.
Oh, we're gonna talk about it. It's a convoluted mess. The fixed rates will be part of the budget, yeah. Actually, we're gonna have to shake all of you guys down for about $500,000 each tonight.
Good luck with that, anyway, a lot of shaking. I'll see what I can do for you.
You want that in check, okay?
Harry, how much you got,
Either.
give me. I know you got it. He makes the money. He used to make the money.
Form of payment is not a problem. We'll take
It's all
all
about
currency.
37.5 cents. I can handle it. All right. All right, well, 6 o'clock. Well, we go ahead and call the meeting.
All in.
Roll call.
Each maker.
Bobby Mose. Dave Wade.
Tony Nally.
Morton Norris.
Nelson Baker.
Chad Matthews.
There it is.
All right, review and approve the minutes. That's good.
Well, I do have a couple of things that need to be corrected. Under old business, the reservoir update. We had a site visit for our EPA 1 million grant funding. It's not another 1 million. It's for the same 1 million EPA grant that we have. Makes it sound like we're gonna get another $1 million. I shit, it would be nice.
So there's not an additional $1 million, because that's the way you guys made it
It's
sound.
the same EPA grant that we've had out there for 3 years, 4 years.
At least.
So in other words, it should say for the 1 million.
Yes, yes. And then it looks like there should be another bullet point after Crestview water pressure reduction, then it should be a bullet point for water sewer capacity study, I guess.
Oh, yeah, okay. Right underneath, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, kind of like just ran together
Okay.
there. And then over on the next page, under the calculation capacity down in that paragraph there, you have, where it says liaison Nally asked Bowen how the town can use all this information and decide how to calculate the fees, I think would be an appropriate word, not money. You see where I am?
Third of the way.
And then the next sentence, the same thing, it says, needs to decide how to collect the money, but it would be the fees. And And then the only other thing that I think might be confusing is where you have at the bottom of that page, where it says may responded, that there was no real procedure. I think you should probably put your title in there, because words are May and your name's a May. So kind of a little confusing. So if you want to put utility administrator stated, and in the same way with the next sentence where it says may stated, it should say utility admin stated. Makes more sense. The last one I have is under systems report, where about maybe a third of the way in, where it says there is no monthly fed, and the alert call will go, should be no monthly fee in the alert call. I think
Under,
it's a
which system, whose systems
P.
report?
P. Says the Starlink fire communicator replacement is 16, and it says there is no monthly fed, but it should be fee.
Right above the 939.
Yeah. That's a good way to handle it.
Which is say there's no monthly fee.
Fed.
There
There
should,
should be fed.
but there is a monthly fee there.
Well, then that's wrong then too.
Well, you stated last time there was no
I said
monthly
There
fee.
was no, there's not a monthly fee for the thing, but for them to do the service of like, if a call goes out, there's a fee for that. There's not a fee for the material that we have putting in there. There's a fee, monthly fee for like, for the service of the Starlink service for them. Like if they're a fire, they'll call the fire department. and call me and tell me.
Okay, so there is a monthly fee.
Yeah.
And did we, I don't know if we had that.
No.
Because it said there is no monthly fee in the minutes.
No, it's not. So there's a monthly fee.
Mm,
Is
okay.
it less
Well,
than
what is it?
$5? No.
Like,
You stated there wasn't.
$59 a month, isn't it? Don't remember right?
Sorry, I walked in late. What are you talking
Got a Starlink for the fire thing out at the sewer plant.
about? Oh, I can look at it. I don't know off the top of it.
Yeah, I think it's like $59 a month, something like that. I don't know what that, exactly what it was.
Okay. So then there is a monthly fee, and we need to put that in the minutes then. Okay. That's everything I think I have. Sorry about that. I got to it sooner, but one other things.
Good job.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions or concerns with me?
Yes. Covered.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as adjusted.
Wait a
I
minute.
just
At
think
the
we need to
bottom
have
of the
those suggestions
page.
before the meeting.
Bottom of the first page.
Yeah, it says primary source, and then when it goes over to the next page, in and again, approved. Does that make, I mean, I'm not, does that make sense? So,
With primary source in an approved site plan only. Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, yeah. With the primary source left in, maybe should be helpful. Does that make more sense?
So since we have changes, we should probably approve these in the next meeting.
Okay.
Yvette does them and it's right away, and she sends them to me and Lauren and Tony, so maybe she can send them to everybody right away, and then we'll have the revisions before we come to the meeting, you know?
It shouldn't be capitalized, it should just be in.
That would probably help too, yeah. Okay.
The
Yes,
primary
Yes,
source
yes,
in
Yeah,
and
there you go,
approved.
yes. Because it seems like we just didn't finish the sentence with the capital.
Started a new sentence.
All right.
Sorry, I just didn't get them sooner.
All right, Dave, back up again.
I'm back up.
Well, no, Rachel said that we're probably just gonna
Yeah,
approve next.
I need to
minute.
Oh, okay.
double check how much that.
Do double
is,
minutes.
have to
Yeah,
revise
because
them.
we have too many corrections. We'll just approve them.
Well, if we knew specifically what the corrections were, that would be different, but I can just check.
There's
to
too
see.
many new ones. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, so review and approve the treasury.
Okay, all right, so, at the end of March, the water fund had an ending balance of $59,738.28. We did receive $23,346.36 in water, sewer, and sanitation collections. Of that, water collections were $9,268.04. Sewer collections were $11,944.71, and sanitation collection was $2,133.61. We paid WRA $170.15 for rescue bypass ongoing services. We paid Mid-Atlantic Utilities $6,735 for Potomac Street waterline test bits, and we earned interest for the month of $945.77. And I'll just say right here at this moment, it took me almost 3.5 weeks to get all that paperwork processed, Terry, so
I
we
see
didn't earn,
that.
yeah, we didn't earn the 3.03 for the whole month, but we are earning it now. That was-
Yeah, I already figured that up in my head.
All right, water fund user fee restricted account had an ending balance of $1,537,728.55. We received and transferred in $10,550 for Boonesborough ambulance tap fee. And we received and transferred in $63,300 for Richmond Homes tap fees that were paid into the water fund. We also earned interest for the month of $1,810.93. The American Rescue Plan Acts Fund had an ending balance of $646,025.45. We paid Potomac Edison $10,656.54 for the new electrical service at the reservoir. We paid HRI two pays, pay app 11 and pay app 12, $21,303.75 and $167,998 respectfully. We also paid WRA $1,017.85 for ongoing services at the reservoir. And we earned interest of $2,159.17. Sewer fund had an ending balance of $276,417.46. We paid our ongoing bond at the sewer plant, $226,003.26, and we received interest earnings of $928.03. The sewer fund restricted account had an ending balance of $409,922.29, and we received in from the ambulance company a tap fee of $31,000, and we earned interest for the month of $491.77. That is everything we have.
I make a motion, we accept the treasurer's report. I'll second that.
All in favor? Any opposed?
I did have a question, Mr. Chair. You said this the other night, the mayor council meeting, I didn't say anything. On the water fund, paid WRA $170.15. I think they got the decimal point in the wrong spot.
He doesn't normally put small amounts in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, there's no way,
But-
we paid. Anyway, I noticed it the other night, I didn't say anything.
Maybe there wasn't much reports they thought he'd added.
Yeah, I just didn't say anything the other night.
Yeah, I'd say that's might give you a whole lot.
Yeah, but like 1 hour of work.
If that.
All right. We have, everybody all in favor of the treasurer's report? Opposed, so motion carries. Doesn't look like we have any public comment. We move on to the old business with Drew for the reservoir.
The reservoir, slow work up there now, not a lot. You've got the different trades are coming in, putting in the instrumentation. I finished up the painting up there. The doors are on, it's locked. Pete, I don't know if you had a chance to run up to see if they get the key yet. So Pete needs a key because he wants to start organizing how he's going to be laying out the room, the control building, something like that. So there's not a lot going on up there. The big thing we're trying to do right now is get the power from Potomac Edison. We need to get the main power in. So they come in and they drop a transformer. We connect to that. Then they can start energizing the equipment, testing it, and everything else. So big focus right now is getting that in. We've paid our fair share.
I was gonna ask you, because we just paid a big chunk.
That's what it was.
Okay.
That's exactly what it was for. And now you just gotta coordinate with Potomac Edison and all the different trades to hook up and all that. Potomac Edison is never fast.
So they know where everything's at, nothing needs to be pending or approved for all that. Okay.
Nope. Not a thing. They just have to bring the transformer out, set the transformer, and then they gotta pull the lines through the conduit that the HRI already laid.
Anyone have any questions for Drew about the reservoir? All right, comes to bottleneck, Rachel.
So I believe that you guys had agreed months ago that when we go to fix the bottleneck, you thought it would be best to do the whole line, not just the 4 inches. Well, Drew got 2 bids. We didn't RFP it because it's too much of an emergency. We don't have time for going through that whole process. So the 2 bids he got were from HRI and Mid-Atlantic Utilities. He's got the breakdown there. So assuming that you guys still want to do the whole line, we would like a recommendation from you to the mayor and council for which contractor you would like to go with. And then that is still pending securing the funding. I think that the majority of the council is leaning towards doing the whole line. It's just a cost that is very high and was not expected. So we're still working out the funding, but assuming you want to do the whole thing, we'd like your recommendation. Either contractor, either way, Mid-Atlantic is the lower price. But if you have any opinions.
So some of the stuff that Rachel did provide, again, we did this very quickly, and if you recall, when we first asked, we were told to go get pricing just for the 4 inch, and then the BMUC met, so we had to revise, so these got put together pretty quickly. When you look at what was submitted, you'll find that HRA gave us just a lump sum, and Mid-Atlantic gave us a much bigger detail. The only reason I want to point a couple of things out, some of the costs, just some things to be aware of. In both, now, Mid-Atlantic broke it down into different pieces, so I can do some analysis. 37% of the cost is due to state highway administration requirements that if you mess up their road, you have to repave it from curb to curb. Only if you, even if you're just in this lane, trench, you can't do a trench. They require you to do side to side. So when you look at both of the prices for Mid-Atlantic for both the 4 inch line and doing the full 12 inch line, 37% of that cost is just asphalt. You know, if we were doing the regular line project, we would go straight down the road. We would do a patch. We would not do the entire road, because the other thing you have to keep in mind, and it was kind of nice that Mid-Atlantic provided it, maintenance of traffic. Maintenance of traffic is huge because you're on a state road. Yeah, if you look at the whole 12 inch line, I think it's around, $400,000 for flag maintenance. Yeah.
Well, they've gotten a lot stricter.
Because people are getting killed.
Yeah.
Because drivers are worse and people are getting killed. And I get it, I understand, I'm just, what Mid-Atlantic gave you is just some ability so you can see where the costs lie. If you look at HRIs, they just give a lump sum. They gave you some unit prices.
$7,000 an hour.
And as Rachel said, we did this as an emergency, we did this quickly, we're trying to get numbers, there was no engineer on this, there were no specifications written up, this was taking our GIS system, no engineering fees, taking our GIS system saying, look, we just need to replace what's in the ground here with this, which is pretty straightforward. But when you look at the bid information that I included, that was included in the information, there's a lot more going on there than you think. To do the entire section, you're gonna knock 58 people out of service. There's 58 services, 25 on each side of the road. They're gonna have to put up a temporary water line, they're gonna have to make sure the water line's all connected, then they install the new water line, then they flip everybody back over. That way everybody's out of water twice. Switch over to the temporary line and switch back. They've gotta lay a temporary line on the sidewalk. There's a lot going on there.
That's another maintenance concern.
That's correct, because it will be in the summer, so it's gonna have a bleeder on it, because when you have lines on the ground, the sun beats on them, the water gets warm, residents don't wanna turn the cold water on and get warm, so you always have a bleeder at one end where it's bleeding off water all the time to keep chlorine up, so people not running out here worrying about chlorine, and it keeps the water fresh and not. So there's just a whole lot going on out there. I know it's a huge number. It is a huge number. But when it starts out there, it'll get everybody's attention. Questions, comments?
What did they do on the temporary line at these side streets? How did they?
They have to jumper, they use fire hydrants to jumper between water systems. So they don't go down and connect to the water line, they go to the hydrant. They use the hydrant, come off of the hydrant, and create a temporary water line on the ground. They have to go across the street.
With that temporary water line, is it just, it doesn't cross an intersection like?
Oh, it does, and they'll have to trench it in.
That there, that's what I'm saying, that Park Lane or.
They have to trench it in.
They dig out and bury it and then, okay.
You have to, there's no way to,
Go over.
you can't put a 6-inch, 8-inch water line, temporary water line in the middle of a road. That's,
Right.
you don't want people driving on it either, that would be bad.
It's 5 or 6, maybe more. I can't, I'm trying to count my head. It's gonna be a lot.
Both contractors talked to me that they would probably do it in 2 phases. Instead of trying to run a temporary water line all the way from the police department all the way to Main Street, they're gonna strategically take where those hydrants are and do it in 2 phases. So they'll do 2 phases, done, move to the next one, finish second phase 2. Because why would you want to tie up the entire street if you're only working in a 20, 25, 30-foot section? You know, you can open it back up to 2 lanes very quickly.
If we don't do the whole thing, with us going that bypass, Crestview bypass, everything blowing that extra amount of pressure up through there, what are the chances that what we don't do is gonna hold up?
It's a concern, and I know exactly what he's referring to is when we look at the water line, let me turn off. What he's referring to is when you look here, the blue, this is your water coming from, right now it comes from Keysville through Crestview, which is down here, comes up King Road and goes into town. It shoots off here. The first sections they're going to be doing are going to be up here, so yes, you're probably going to see water, a lot of more water flowing through Young Avenue as an alternate source while they're doing up here. But remember, when they put in the temporary line, a lot of that pressure is going to be going through that line. Did have a lot of discussions with both contractors saying, well, you got to understand there's over 100 PSI in that line. You can't just push together 2 pieces of pipe with this level of water through. It's going to have to be restrained. It's going to have gaskets. It's going to have to be tightly done because that's also going to be conveying water. But you're correct. Whenever you start doing things that start creating restriction, water's going to try to find another way to go. So I would fully expect that we're probably going to get more water velocity through here while they're doing this. I think it's going to cause a serious problem. No, I don't, but it's certainly a concern that we're aware of.
Well, they could put a PRV to a fire hydrant and reduce the pressure down
Yes.
to 60 PSI coming out of the hydrant just for that short little jump and that check valve at the other end.
But we still gotta get it up to the reservoir.
And that'll force the majority of the water up Young Avenue as opposed to carrying a lot of pressure to a temporary.
Right. And when we get ready to sit down and connect everything up, that's when we're really going to check all the pressures and everything. We looked at it preliminarily. But we didn't dope every piece out exactly where the fittings are going. And I had to walk with both contractors, you know, the sidewalk. It's a narrow sidewalk up through there. It's very narrow. So where do you put the pipe? We've got little porches that pop out everywhere. So it's not like everybody's 30 feet off off the sidewalks. You've got all the room. You just put it in the yard and go. I mean, there's driveways we're going to have to trench into so that the people can use their driveways. I mean, there's a whole lot going on up there. It's not just the water line. It's all that it takes to get the water line in.
Well, whether we go with proposal 1 or proposal 2, I'm afraid HRI, even though they are a little more expensive, has a lot on their plate. And I have also dealt with Mid-Atlantic. And they seem pretty quality to me. They do a lot of work down in the city.
Mid-Atlantic's bread and butter is urban downtown work. That's their bread and butter. That's what they do. They're not Huntsberry Brothers. They're not open field contractors. They'll do it, but that's not their expertise. Their expertise is working in tight alleys, working with in between buildings where you have natural gas, electric underground, all these kind of things. That's what they do. I mean, and they're really good with temporary water lines. And all I can say is you're going to already irritate everybody that lives out there. Don't be knocking them out of water left and right because somebody's not sure of how they were supposed to put the pipe together and only done it one other time. And that was 2 years ago on another job. And yeah, I remember.
And they don't have to order anything. Mid-Atlantic's got everything.
If I remember correctly, Mid-Atlantic keeps a guy there overnight. At least they did down in Rockville.
Yeah, on some jobs they do.
They kept a guy there overnight in case there was, well, one guy.
Well, in other than different from the mayor and council, y'all's job is to worry about water and sewer. You don't have to worry about how it's paid. That's Tony's job, and Eric's job. They have to worry about how it's paid.
Being a crossover.
But again, I think that everybody, I will say this much at the council meeting when it was discussed, and then the numbers are gonna sticker shock. Majority of the council recognizes nobody wants to spend $3 million to fix it. We get it.
Yeah, but they've not wanted to spend the money for 20 years.
That's what they're all saying. Why?
They get it.
Yeah. You're paying for the sins of someone else, but you want to leave sins for, and nobody seems to want to do that.
Seems that
And that's
pipe was
good.
put
That's
in
good.
50 years ago. Maybe more than 50 years ago. I think it's back in the 60s, Stomach Street was redone.
Okay. Well, how about any thought on this? I'm gonna make the motion that we go with Mid-Atlantic and we do proposal 2, do the whole project. So, we get a second.
I'll second that.
If we don't put it together real quickly and we go with an engineer and everything, could the price possibly come down? Well, let's not go with an engineer.
All right, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. We're gonna make that recommendation to the mayor and council that we support Mid-Atlantic for the second proposal. All right, the FU water pressure reduction and bypass, you're up again.
The winter weather's over, 93 degrees, got all of our attention today. They're gonna be starting, they're supposed to be starting on Monday, and I know they've been dropping equipment off at the wastewater treatment plant, where they're using it as a staging area. There's fresh stakes out there all over the place. If you've driven out there, the grass has gone up a little bit, but the stakes are out there. The PRV vaults have been ordered, so they're gonna be ganging up there next week. That's when they're supposed to be fired up. So you'll see them out there. They'll be along the side of the road. That's where the water line's going. But you'll see them before Crestview coming from Keysville as they put the PRV vault there. And they also have a PRV vault they're putting on King Road. We'll see at those 2 locations first. They're gonna run the line.
Anything expected to impact any type of traffic or?
No, there's so much lane width there, both with the turning lanes and the wide shoulders. They will take a shoulder.
Yeah, but they're not gonna be out in this town.
They will not be in the travel.
All right, moving on, water and sewer capacity study, do it again.
So you all had homework last time. I don't know if you remember that or not, but we talked about the water and sewer capacity reports. Okay? There were a couple of things, and this is the same thing that's up on the screen, but I wanted to give you big numbers so that we can see the big numbers. Sir?
You know, you're doing the best, there, Fred.
It's a little bit different. All right, from last time, water and sewer capacity management report. Everybody recall, if you don't recall, I'm reminding, based on 5-year average. Let's take the 5 last years. Then one of the things you have to do in your water system is you have to calculate how many houses are coming online that you've approved. Okay? The discussion last month was specifically about the requirement under the capacity report, under the guidance document, that you take your #1 water source out of service. Okay, we talked about that. We talked about Keysville Spring. We talked about how long it's run, how important it is. We talked about how could DC operate if you shut down the Potomac. I mean, what the capacity report is telling you to do is it's telling you to take a catastrophic event and get your system surviving. Okay, so you asked me to do 2 things. You asked me to take out our secondary source, not the other one. So I've given you a kind of a breakdown here. Blow this up a little bit and I'll walk you through it. I know there's a lot on there and it looks crazy, but it's actually not that bad. Anyway, let's go through the numbers. The top number, maximum water production. This comes from Pete. This is the maximum amount of water that he can produce. That's with everything working, he turns everything on, the maximum that he can do. The second line is removal of water sources. This is your, pretend you had a catastrophic event, okay? NDE says take out your primary. Our highest producer is Keysville Spring. You asked me to evaluate it by taking Schaefer Park out. I also gave you what does it look like with everything working, like it is most of the time. So you have your maximum production number that comes from Pete. The next line is removal of a water source, whether it be Keysville or Schaefer Well. Then you get your remaining capacity. Here's your system 5-year average. This number is the same all the way across. Okay? Future demand. That's what we're talking about. That's not what the homework was. That's what you all needed to make a decision on. Future demand. When WRA did it, they did it for the full build out of the entire town. That's not reasonable. We all understand that. They had to do it for the long-term 20-year plan. Makes total sense, but that's not reasonable. Primary source out for approved site plans. Only things that you've approved. You're in the whole 100,000. If you count approved site plans and plans that have been submitted but not approved. Remember, we've got a couple of plans that are going through the process, haven't been approved. They haven't been given a water and sewer certification, but they're coming. So we're aware of it. I think where we were kind of headed last time is everybody's like, look, if we know about it, we need to count it, even if we're not exactly sure what the number is. So I gave you what that is. So the difference between what we've approved, we need to make sure that we have at least 32,750 gallons for the number of units we've approved. If you want to assume that everything that's in the pipeline gets approved, that number jumps to 65,200. And you can see by adding that additional, you go further in the hole. Okay. Schaefer Park well. Now this is going to leave Keysville water in, but we're going to take out the Schaefer Park well. Again, same rules. This is site plan only. This is site plan and whatever is in progress. You're still in that. Okay? And the last one is how things operate today when Pete doesn't have a problem. Make 519,000. If you only include site plans, we got 76,000 gallons a day of extra water we don't need. If you take everything in process, you got 43,000. You divide that number by 250, you get the number of EDUs. Remember EDUs? How many units you can build, that's a number you can give to the planning commission so that they know. So the question for you all was, in the assumptions on the capacity management guidelines, under their guidance documents, it ain't the law. It's just telling you how to do it. What MDE is identifying is the fact that you need to have your system have some sort of a catastrophic event. How would you survive? That's just good planning. Okay, so what does the town or what does the BMUC recommend that we should use? One, do we count Keedysville Spring and take it out? Do we take Schaefer Well out? And the second question is, we know we have to count site plans because you've already given the capacity certification. Do we count what's in process? Then I can give you the final numbers.
I think you found what's in process, because you know that's coming. But, I mean, I don't think we count Kent Road, I mean, you can't count that far out.
Right.
If there's something that's on somebody's desk and they're working on it, you have to either know that that's coming, or you have to kill it.
Well, what defines process?
Well, here's the other thing you need to think about. Depending which one you pick, Schaefer Park or this one, either way, you don't have enough water. We're not approving anything else. Now, what can change that? This number right here. The system average. We got a leak in the system. We plug the leak. If the leak's as big as we think it is, we're probably going to get 70 or 80,000 gallons of capacity, right? You have another well. You guys actually have two wells. I don't know why you ever took the other well out of service. It was over there in Crestview. Turbidity. Oh, is that the reason why? Otherwise, they're going to make it filter. Okay. All right. Well, then that makes total
We
sense.
had to have a pre-storage tank where, coagulant, because it was in there. It was in the 12, not 12, it was there.
What does that mean?
Turbidity? It's dirt.
Dirt, water.
You look through it, you can't see. You shouldn't have any turbidity if you're drinking good drinkable water.
Hey, Greg,
Mhm.
Thank you.
on your,
Well,
that's the way of service.
Yep.
That doesn't include the well and the spring for the time, right? Because I know they don't run the well all the time.
Right. That's based on what they've used it
That
at.
takes into
Correct. So the natural thing that pops up that comes to mind is, well, heck, we have to. I'm just looking at faces here and I'm trying to make a judgment, but if I'm wrong, you tell me. You're all saying, look, we have to pretend there's a catastrophic event. That's just good planning. We can't just ignore that. We just can't say the world's going to be wonderful and he's always going to have all the wells working and we're never going to have a problem. That's not really very realistic. So if you pick either one of those, you need to declare a moratorium, is what comes to mind, doesn't it? And I would absolutely agree with you if you weren't in the middle of a construction project that's going to probably solve 70, 80,000 gallons of capacity within the next 6 to 8 months. And you got another well that's in Fletcher's Grove. I know you don't have the land for it yet, but you have a well.
You get a water line too.
I mean, that's right. That's easy to do. So if you had nothing in the process, in work, I would say, yeah, you probably could talk about a moratorium. But that seems to be, when you call for a moratorium, you'll send shockwaves through all the building community. You'll send shockwaves. I do not recommend doing that. And I don't have grave concerns because you're working on the reservoir as we speak. Talked about in the minutes about getting some information on that well at Schaefer Park, and let's see what Fletcher's Grove, see what it can do. It's a big producer. Hey, we know that Tractor Supply is going to be coming. We know they're going to have some land there. We could say, hey, we need for water for you and for everybody else, we need, X number of land here so we can put in an injection plant, because that's probably what it would be. They're probably not going to make turbidity or filter it there, are they?
Depends, we'll have to do testing.
And that's what we can do. The big difference here, the reason I say that is just drilling a well and finding water. It's a big deal. You've already done that. You already have a well, so let's just evaluate the well. Plus you've got the reservoir, which is your next big source of getting capacity to the system. But if you guys aren't comfortable with that level of risk, then that's a decision you all need to make.
I keep going mentally back to Fletcher's Grove well and how we can benefit from it. What the process is getting that water to the location that we need, which is the treatment plant. Am I right?
You're not gonna get that water.
No, not
You
that.
have to build another treatment plant.
Build another.
You gotta build another
You're
treatment.
gonna have to build.
All right. There is a 3-acre site behind the station.
Which station?
And
Amazon's coming.
that's Dog Leg.
Yeah.
That will never, well, I shouldn't say never, because never is a strong word. But there's not many businesses that will build there. That's why, I'll say it right here. That's why Clemens tried to get the station to buy it for about 2 years.
So that's what I said. When I look at this, I see Fletcher's well is right here. Come down here, we can run down the property line and we get a piece of property squared off. You can get that much, try to get it for free. There's a lot of land for free.
Well, that's-
Commercial zoning, but what I'm saying is you can ask, you don't need for an injection plant. You don't need a very big facility. Well, 8. I don't even know if does the GIS even pick it up?
If you're gonna have to fill, it's a little bit different scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look how little, that's all you need. You don't need much. This is a house.
You don't really need much down in the Bridgeville water plant. You only got that little teeny little fenced in area. You don't need a whole big lot.
Right. But I agree with you, Nelson. I would put it right here because it's also right next to our pressurized sewer line.
Well, how much property? I
Are you
guess
sure?
we know what property Tractor Supply has.
We know that they're working with Clemens.
They're still working with them.
Yes, they've submitted plans to state highway for an access permit. They're doing a traffic study.
They're not gonna come off the same road, Dollar General.
Yeah.
They are,
That's all
but,
right.
but what's triggering it is state highways are gonna look and say, do we need to put a signal there? What improvements do you need to make to the intersection? Because you're gonna bring a lot more traffic. Now, I'm not gonna say more than Dollar General, but it's gonna be as much as Dollar General. And Tractor Supply is a little different. There's gonna be a lot of people with big trucks and trailers and stuff going in and out of there, so you're gonna look for some different turning roaded elements.
It's gonna double at least. And at the very least, it's gonna
That's
double.
going to double the heavier equipment.
Right.
Heavier vehicle.
But Clemens has a big piece out there.
Yes, he does. But what's the access? Is Tractor Supplies has all the way over to the property line.
They won't. They're gonna make Tractor Supply's gotta come through here.
I know, but yet they have, their property goes to the lane.
Yes, it does.
Because it showed on the picture that you gave us that's where they had or the storage and parking.
Mhm.
So how does he Clemens, get anything into there except through that right of way?
That's where it has to
already
go.
exists.
Right.
And who's gonna wanna be behind Tractor Supply?
Nobody.
Okay,
So
so,
we got a right of way back there, don't we?
yes, we have
Yeah,
a
we
right
do.
of way.
We have a right of way that goes up.
All the way.
Fletcher's Grove back.
Yeah, it comes out of here, goes like this. Comes in there. But you're right. Tractor Supply is probably gonna take all this. Probably square that off, and this will be their back parking here. I don't know what they're gonna do with that, but that's what we're gonna ask.
Well, I think that was what, not to repeat myself, which I don't like to do, is that's why Clemens wanted to dump that on the station. He told us how much we needed.
Did he give you a price?
No, he wouldn't give us the price, because I suggested that he donate.
Well, the other thing we were
It's not gonna
thinking
be
about,
free.
the other thing that was discussed in the planning commission is this road obviously is gonna be extended to get to Tractor Supply, right? Planning commission's talking about making them put the road over to here. So that the fire company or the
Right.
ambulance company can have a secondary way out.
No, in.
In
That's
or out.
That's the.
They can decide.
One way in, one way out.
Right.
The current in and out is out.
It's not really water and sewer, but yes, they're thinking about that. And again, it's that whole point of thinking about connecting things. So there's multiple ways to go different directions. You're not stuck to one road where if something happens, it's just kind of. So did everybody, I know we kind of got off subject here. Does everybody understand the way that the water capacity works? And the thing that you all need to tell me so I can give you a final report and tell you where we are. Because depending what you say, I'm gonna pick one of these colors. I'm either picking blue, green. I don't think I'm gonna be picking gray, because nobody here thinks it's a good idea not to pretend an emergency doesn't happen.
When I look at the two, which is less likely to fail or more likely to fail? To me, it's the Schaefer Park well, because the spring has been there for eternity. And if anything can happen, it'll happen at the well.
Do you agree with that?
It depends, I mean, if you have like a massive earthquake or something,
Well, that's everything.
that's what I'm saying, but
Yeah.
that could happen to either the spring.
Oh, yes, well,
So.
yeah, if you talk an earthquake.
It's whatever, is gonna happen, like,
Well, if you gotta pick, but if you gotta pick one,
it would be.
I would be the Schaefer Park well.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
that's just me.
even in the strongest of droughts that we ever have, that spring never slows down.
Does it ever get
It
dirty?
never slows down.
Is there any treatment down there for anything?
Yeah, we treat it.
Like turbidity or just,
We have filters that are just like every well.
You have a generator at Keysville Spring, right?
Spring gets.
Do you have a generator does the Schaefer Park well hook to a generator? Is that power supply go to the emergency
It
supply
always
too?
go to the plants, yes.
Okay.
We have backup.
So you'll always have power for that well, even if,
I got backup power at every facility for one.
awesome.
So Drew, let me ask you something. You and Pete, would it be your opinion that the previous holding 10% in reserve requirement is now going because of this taking a source offline? I would think it would be. Right? They can't tell you to take the source offline, by the way, keep an extra 10%, right?
No,
Okay, so hear what I'm saying, Tony? So we can not figure on reducing this by another 10%.
What MDE is looking for is that in your capacity analysis, you showed something catastrophic in the system and how to survive. I don't think they really care which one you pick. They just want to know that you're acknowledging that something could happen.
Yeah, well, you have a plan, or some kind of.
The key to this is that I think you have to evaluate in your own minds to make a decision is with what we have under contract right now. Does that give you enough confidence not to issue a moratorium? Or do you say, we'll reevaluate this in 6 months when the reservoir is done and we'll relook at the numbers? But again, remember the system average, the 5-year average, it doesn't matter what the hell you do for the last 6 months of this year, that 5-year average is gonna keep your number up.
because this year's gonna be a big year. The average won't go down.
I would strongly say that until the reservoir is online, we can't in good conscience keep moving.
Right.
I mean, how could you?
But this is your
I mean,
decision.
I'm not the BMUC, but I'm just gonna, I know I'm gonna discuss this at the other level. But how could you in good conscience say that we can keep on going? Can't. And you're putting numbers out here that are maximum for production too. Let's keep that in mind. I mean, this is maximum. This is all we can do.
Think put a 10% cushion in there?
It
Do
wouldn't
that
help you.
too.
It wouldn't help you.
It hurts you, it doesn't help you, but yeah, you can put that in there if you want.
It just makes the numbers look worse.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to make the numbers over. They are there. They're in red.
So where are we talking
Oh,
the negative 102? We go with the green and then the 65,000. It's already in the works. That's not what's been approved. How far does that get us out? When can we fully expect those 65,000 additional gallons to be drawing on our system?
Well, that included King Road, and TT&K and
You're talking about the 65,250 number?
Yes.
What was your question about that number?
When can we expect that demand to be on our system? I mean, are we looking,
I would say the site plans of 32,000, you're gonna see in the next year or two.
okay, so we're talking 2 years out.
The other 30,000, I don't think you're gonna see for at least 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
You're talking Ringley and Dean North, and they don't even have another entrance picked out yet. I mean, they're still a ways away from getting those. And once they get them and they're ready to start, there's a whole process they've got to do for final plats and all that. So I would say the 3275 is probably you're gonna see that usage start to hit the system this year. You're gonna see it.
Some of it, but the full 32.
Probably full 2 years.
Take 2 years to that, the demand on our system.
Right, and then you go to the additional 30,000 for the others, if they're approved.
Just that gives you plenty of time to do what's gonna be, if there's what being done, what's gonna do for the water loss. How much easier it's gonna make it to keep up with that demand.
No, I wouldn't call it a moratorium, I'd just say we need to hold off making any more certifications for water and sewer taps until the reservoir's done and we see how much capacity we gain at that time.
You know, your left-hand column or the approved site plans,
Mhm.
we can't do much about.
Mhm.
But I think we can about those in progress.
Absolutely.
So that's where those in progress, let's wait and see. We can't promise you anything now.
Right, and you don't have anything coming to you right now?
You know, we
So-
know they're out there.
You know they're out.
They're thinking, there's people thinking about it. But that's,
But again, that's why we asked them to go through the process. You're not on any construction money yet. Your plans are still good. We just don't have the tap yet. You're gonna have to wait until we get the reservoir done, make sure we have enough capacity that we get from the water loss. What we should do, and what we can do in the meantime, is we should look at getting information on the well in Fletcher's Grove. And number two, really start looking at the system average and how we can get that down. We know we have water loss, okay, I get that, I understand that, but we need to, this now turns into the looking for the water loss, because that 410,000 gallons a day, that's with the water loss, that's everything.
well, our new meters gonna help us with that also.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be somehow.
And is that still sitting around 18%?
Oh, 50%.
Huh?
This past Monday night, or whatever the hell that was,
almost
53% water loss. What? Yeah, it's crazy.
What happened?
What, talking about water loss, that's been, can I throw out another question?
Hit us, Nelson, that's what you're here for.
Do we meter, Mill Point?
Yeah, every service has to
Because
be.
that will not come back. That goes into the ground, so is that in?
That's accounted for in the chart.
Yep.
Okay.
And then whenever we do the other ones, we put a meter on the 500 for flushing. We meter that one, we put it into. Everything is metered in.
Okay, well, I have to ask a question.
this is in the system and going.
Well, yes, but,
Uncalculated. We don't know.
well, but that's what I was asking, if with 0.70, whatever it is, homes was calculated into this, because it's lost water.
Right.
It's not lost in the sense that you're saying.
Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
It's lost coming back to the treatment plant, but it's not lost because you're calculating it,
Yeah.
you're calculating
Yes.
in the
It's a calculated.
supplies.
You're getting billed.
We're really flushing.
Oh,
And then meter.
Run all the time?
I think we have no choice but to wait till the
Flusher. I know it runs like 2 times a day at certain
Then
points.
we know
Okay.
two things. We know what the capacity is,
This time,
we know we lowered the water.
So-
And then go from there, but I'm like you, I don't like the word moratorium, but we can slow things down, I mean,
Right.
they gotta have the approval of the taps by us.
That's right. They don't even come to you all until the site plan is conditionally approved by the planning commission. So everything that's in the planning commission, it's actually been there a little while, is still being reviewed. It might come to you in a month, might come to you in 2 months, might come to you in 3 months. I don't know what it's gonna come to.
But I do think we ought to continue exploring Fletcher's Grove as diligently as we can.
Let me just say this, so I'm very clear, and I'm making it clear to everybody. You say the word moratorium, it will be a shit show. I kid you not. It will go off the rails. You'll be on the front page of the paper. You'll have everything in the world you don't want. I'm telling you, don't use that word. You can use it if you want, but I'm just telling you, it's gonna rain down like hell. You may think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you the truth.
No, I don't think that's a consideration, that we haven't thought about that. I mean, the only person that's mentioned this to you.
Right. Because I know where all your minds are going.
Which is why, you know.
And the only people that can do that is the council.
Right.
So, I mean, you all make a recommendation.
Why do we have to say anything?
I don't
Why
think
can't
you
we
do.
continue to monitor?
We don't.
So instead of a moratorium, if someone comes along and wants to build a substantial amount, could we require them to get Fletcher's Grove online?
I was going to be honest, coming up with that. It involves it somehow.
So will we force the Easter days to go to pump station? Is this different?
Speaking for Pete, I don't think the state's ever gonna let you do anything.
Right, it's twofold. Rachel, it's twofold. We've got to fix our water laws to get more permitted from MDE. So, yeah,
Yeah, well, I
And-
think we were basically all under, agreement that we gotta wait till the rest report's online so we can see what we're dealing with.
yeah.
But instead of telling developers flat out no and saying the N word, could we, tell them that if you can have a plan for bringing Fletcher's Grove on, once we get the loss under control.
D North might be a possibility.
Look, guys, I'm not saying play games. I still need an answer from you all as to which source I'm taking out before I present you a final report. I haven't given you a final report yet. I mean, I've shown you the numbers, but I haven't given you one that's approved yet. So you guys need to make a decision. Next month, I will do this report, whichever one you pick, right? We'll have those numbers, and then you're gonna ask me, what other things can we do to address this?
I'll make good motions to use the safer well.
Well, I'll second that.
Approved
Right.
site plan. Approved site
Yes.
plan.
Okay.
Yeah, for approval.
You can't worry about something that's not gonna happen or when it's gonna happen.
Right, because you know that you're not gonna approve it.
Right.
At this time.
We have the ability to say no.
That is great, that gives me an answer. I will give
Unless
you
you
a formal
change your-
report that comes
unless you
back.
change your
We'll
vote.
show you what the capacity is or what the deficit is.
Wait, so Nelson made the motion. Did somebody second it?
Dave Wade.
Dave,
So, yeah, we're gonna go with the shift part. And we're gonna go with the approved site plans, which is the 32,000 somewhere.
Those are the ones you're legally obligated.
We have to provide water. The other ones.
and keep our mouth
we're in the
shut.
Process, but we don't have to approve it.
We're evaluating.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Yeah. So it looks like motion carries. That-
We're good on all.
What's that?
All right, Yvette, Greg's not here, so what's your,
So Porterline actually contacted Rachel and Greg and me about actually coming and bringing a collector unit, which would sit in Greg's parking lot, which would give us all the bells and whistles of the AMI. So they are waiting on a FCC license, temporary license, before they can put that active. And then they'll train on that as soon as it arrives. So it'll be on a trailer in the parking lot of
Train.
the shop.
They will train. Greg,
Me.
Go you.
Me and, well, Greg also, because he'll have to obviously, have the equipment there and probably initiate some reads, but.
Now, is this all part of the pilot also? There's no additional
This is
cost?
extra for us. It's not really part of the initial. This is added on contract. You got that, right? So it's added on at no cost.
Okay.
So right now.
Now, would that be something in the future that would stay there? They would elevate it?
No,
up?
they'll do permanent structures.
Well, that, I meant like a permanent structure. Would that be the point for the town, that everything would come to that point? Or,
You mean, will the locator be located there?
yes,
No, I think they have specific locations already lined up for that. I think one was one the fire hall, Anthony? Was that one? That was in the initial discussion, if you remember. They had locations set up.
yeah, I didn't know.
I think it
if
was
this
two.
Like
It was
new
two.
variation.
Yeah.
or This is still.
Yeah, I think there was two locations they needed that would reach all of it.
Cover everything.
And then we talked about it at the Boonesborough Keedysville, and Keedysville was unaware that this was a pilot program for free, so they want to get in on it now. Yeah, so,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. I said, well, you'll have to discuss that with Chris. I said, that's your
So
deal.
they gotta reach out. to them.
Yeah, and I said, so let us know if you need any information, but that's totally up to you guys. But they're very interested in it also, because we were telling them about the leak detection. But that's it.
It continues.
It continues.
Okay, very good. All right, Rachel, Fletcher's Road.
This doesn't really need to be a discussion item, it just was that you guys were talking about in the last meeting that we had done a test for this a few years ago, so, just dug out the information. It should be accurate.
What is it?
The, yield test for the Fletcher's. And then we'll have that.
Results of the inspection?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about it.
No, I don't see anything on the agenda about that.
I apologize, I thought that I put it,
It's on the agenda.
it's on the agenda, but I thought I put the documents out.
No,
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wait. Where is it on the agenda? Do I not have that?
Fletcher's Road, well, yield test.
Do you remember what it
Oh, okay.
was?
Yeah, sorry.
No, but you got found, minutes from the Water Advisory Board, May 18th, I think 2022. Town manager Mantello informed the commission of the status of the 230-foot well. It produced 350 gallons per minute for 4 hours. It has a capacity of producing over 500,000 per day and is a viable well.
That's all for problem.
500,000 a day.
No. What did he say it was? It was 300 gallons per minute?
350 gallons per minute for 4 hours.
700 gallons.
504,000 gallons a day.
You get 700 gallons, that's a million.
504,000 gallons a day divided by 250 is 2,016 EDUs.
Well, there.
That's a long.
You just go, when Mr. Poss comes in, you just say, hey, we need your help as well.
That's right. There you go.
Put it online.
Basically, it's not that simple, but yes, that's what we do.
That was all. Just want to tell you that I found the results and then forgot to send them. to you guys in the packet. Sorry. But now go.
Me too, apparently.
No, I don't.
I know. I said it was taking everything the pump could give it.
I think it's in the Fletcher's Grove well folder. Ship test is.
Oh, yeah, well,
Yes.
Well, you don't need to worry about water for a while.
All right, moving on to new business. All right, the results of the inspection with or compliant, that would be.
We did good. We had no violations. That was our first inspection, like 15 years.
Who's your inspector?
Pete Rich. So, again, he's very happy with everything, checked everything out. So we kept great records, everything looked good. No violations, so if we do those, we'll be.
Good job, Pete. Yes. You and your crew.
You, every day.
Water connection fee or sewer connection fee?
So in the last, I think it was the last meeting, you guys had voted to recommend to the council that the water tap fee be increased to 12,000. And Eric, I'll put you on the spot since it was your idea, you wanted to discuss the possibility of raising the tap fees even.
Well, I was talking about the sewer. That fee.
We weren't talking about both.
Well, I was talking about 12K for water and 18K for sewer.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
If you'll remember, also in the last meeting, Drew had talked about, well, Drew had kind of recommended that in lieu of an impact fee on development, we should raise tap fees because then we are not limited to whatever is being impacted. We don't have to give the money back if the project comes under budget. So you made some really good points about that. That would kind of go along with Eric's thoughts on increasing the sewer,
What's the sewer tap fee?
$15,550.
How much did we raise the water tap fee?
We raised it from 10,500 to 1,200.
12,000.
What did I say?
It's okay. 10.55 to 12.
$1,500 tap.
Which makes you all equal keys for water. Was the whole thing.
So, and to just finish Rachel's thought for her, the tap fees are under a resolution. So we can't recommend and vote on at the council level. We have to do the resolution. So we really need to nail down these two prices so that we can update the resolution and get this all passed.
We also, starting last fiscal year, included the tap fees in the budget ordinance. So we will also need them before we can finish the budget.
The reason.
So no pressure or anything.
So this will be
It's not
effective
great.
June 30th.
July
No,
1st.
it'll affect the FY 27, July 1.
Okay.
The reason we did some of what you all were saying is because every time we try to look back and see what time the raising, we never find it.
It's right here.
Well, I don't know, I think it's pretty, so, I said, let's put it in the budget, resolution, so we can always find it.
Well, and also
Yeah,
that
looking
covers
way
us
back,
from
like
raising
20
fees
Yeah.
without a public hearing.
So we just need a motion to go.
Well,
Because
this-
because you're elected for public here to 18.
If that's what you want to do.
Wait.
Yeah, I
I
just
would
streamed
say
down
maybe
18,
one, do
that
both.
was just me.
Not do both.
Hmm?
I would say do both.
You would say what?
Do both. If we're gonna raise it to 12,000 for the water, 18 for the sewer, just to be stay consistent.
Eric, did
Doesn't
you
matter.
have, where did 18?
Right out of the air.
It was the same thought that he had when he was having a sandwich at the Redbird. It just all comes to.
Oh, we delayed your vote.
Oh, yeah, we didn't tell them that.
I was gonna tell them. Let them get this part first.
Okay.
Don't start too many comments.
So we haven't done anything yet. We've recommended, but do we want to just bump it? Whatever.
We are recommending to change the ordinance.
You're recommending to change the rates.
The rates in the ordinance.
Yes.
Okay,
No, that's the.
I'll make a motion that
Ordinance.
we raise the water to 12 and,
We already did that.
no, and the sewer to 18K to be increased by that amount. And that those numbers be placed in the ordinance. Does the ordinance come, okay. Now, does the ordinance come back to us or does the ordinance go straight to the council? Okay, change the ordinance to reflect those numbers.
That's gonna be moving in about 3 months, 3 years probably.
When was the last time we raised the sewer rate?
2024.
Were they actually raised?
No, they weren't
then, or
raised.
Was that just when they were put into resolution form?
They weren't raised. I don't know when they were raised. It's been quite some time.
25.50, whatever.
We increased the sewer connection fee at least once. At least once.
You haven't raised them since I've been here, so.
Well, it was
that's
prior
2
to you,
years.
I think. It was prior to you.
Somewhere around
That's
25,500.
But if we're gonna increase the sewer by 3,000 roughly, water only by a couple, I mean, why don't we just be consistent? I'm just saying, it's whatever, just.
Yeah, that's okay to do that. I was only trying to make it a little equal.
And I don't care about Keysville, other than the fact that we're charging less than they are on the same water system, but I don't care if we go above them. They don't have anything going on.
That's up to you guys.
That's fine. I'm just saying this out loud, as a saying,
Well,
you know,
it's no burden on current residents. This is one for.
this is new construction only. It's not affecting us on the system today, but it's given us the ability to do things that we can't do. We got $3 million on Potomac Street. Just saying.
You have the projects to justify the cost of it.
And how would we come up with a new number? We wanted to make it 20, 30.
No.
Just throwing
It's
out.
usually,
like-
it's usually
Yeah,
done by
I know,
engineering,
and I
isn't
think
it,
we're
Drew?
pricing ourselves out of the market.
Don't-
That,
Doesn't an engineer usually have a
Might not be a bad thing.
for cost
I'm not
of a
not
project?
opposed to it either. I think
Yeah,
it'd be raised
Fine.
based on the capital cost.
Yeah.
the cost of what we have to do to maintain our system right now, we're looking at over $3 million.
Sure.
Well, we're looking at more than that, if you
Yeah,
have
just
the
in-
board.
Yeah, just in one.
Like 18, 18.
We've tried to look.
Probably closer
at
to
other
$10 million.
towns. We've tried to look at some other towns for comparison. That's,
What if we just, or should go up 1,500 on both? We're at 15 now. We want up to 1,500 on the water. Go up 1,500 on sewer.
whatever y'all want to do. I was just looking for money.
And I'm not liking the 10, 5, 50 either. Just make it an even number. you know. If it works out to be a different number to get to where you want to be, just make it an even number.
And let me ask you a question to kind of satisfy my thinking. Fees are, the tap fees serve, serve what purpose? Or what is it based on? You're hooking up for water and sewer.
You're paying for your capacity.
You're paying for your capacity.
We have to reserve for every lot of record in this town. We are required to reserve 250 gallons. a
Okay,
day.
so it's more with what your demand is, what your use is going to be. So you're paying for that.
Right.
See, I was trying to tie it into the process of treating that water and sewer going in and out.
So think about it this way. You buy a car, put gas in it, you change the oil, change the tires, change the transmission fluid. That's operating cost. But sooner or later, you gotta buy another car. That's a capital cost. Same thing that's going on here. And what the goal is you identify your capital improvements, what it's gonna cost you, and you set your rates, your water and sewer tap rates, based on what you need to accomplish those goals. Now, at this time, we don't have a breakdown of all of our capital improvements projects. But the one thing you both can, that the BMUC can certainly inform the council about is, number one, you know you need to find water. And that's not new, we've all known that. But you have identified a well that looks like it's pretty good. And you got a number of developers that want to do something in this town that you could probably work out an agreement for to do that. So, I mean, I think you've got a couple of good things that are going there. Are you following what I'm saying?
Oh, I am.
You know, but again,
Well, we're, regardless of what we do, we're not putting it on the current resident. It's all on the income, or on the people coming in.
but between 3 million on Potomac Street and having developed a new water source, and I'm not even gonna talk about some of the problems Pete's been having, these kind of things. But you clearly have enough to say, hey, we did not have expenses like this in the last 10 years. We need to raise the rate. And in the meantime, we're working on a capital improvement plan so that we can actually identify the network. Because what will happen over time, as you get more developments moving, as things start happening, Developers are gonna pay attention to tap fees. That's their bottom line, bro. They're gonna come find and start arguing, why are you raising those rates? You have people that are standing in line waiting to pay for them, they're gonna start questioning, what do you mean it's going up to 25,000? You see what, they're gonna ask the question. Better have a good answer. Now, you have a good answer right now, you can say, look, I know we don't have a capital improvements program that can explain all this monetarily, but we just got a bid for $3 million for a water line we have to fix. And we know we gotta bring more water on. So, you're justified. I'm just telling you, as you go forward and people get more sophisticated, they're gonna start asking the question.
Well, just one more question, I promise you. Is there a big difference? But why is there a difference between a water and sewer?
It costs far more to treat sewer than it does to treat
Okay,
water.
that, I think, okay.
It's usually, it's almost 2 to 1. Almost 2 to 1. It's, water's about half of the cost of treating 1 gallon of water to come into the town and be drank. Treating 1 gallon of sewage costs twice as much to treat the sewage as it did to get the water out of there.
Okay.
I say 13, 17.
I say $30,000 to the builder is a lot more fair than $3 million to the town.
And that's what we'd be collecting. If we do 13 and 17, it'd be 30 grand.
Take a lot of 30 grand to make up $3 million.
Well, we've already approved the 12, that's already been.
But it's not finished because it's in a resolution.
We just come back to it.
Yeah, so the resolution has to be updated. So if we're gonna update it for the sewer, let's just,
What would it take?
I didn't know if we do 12 weeks.
Engineers typically set these rates.
And this is just tap fees, this is not the rates, right? This doesn't affect the rate.
no, this is just tap fees. That's right, yeah.
Because we already talked about the 12. Sewer, 12 to 18 would be.
That's
So I
fine.
don't
What
want
the
to be in a
percentage is.
situation where we can
I'm good with that.
Okay, 'cause
Actually, it should be
I'm good. I'm not gonna-
It should be 12.
All right. We're gonna make a motion that we recommend to the board that we raise the sewer tap fee to 18. We've already talked about raising it.
And what's the water at?
12, it's gonna be 12, and we've already made that recommendation last month.
They established that last month anyway, the 12,000.
So this month, we're gonna recommend that we
And
raise.
who made the motion?
I'll make the motion. Can you give a second?
And who seconded it?
Chad, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody?
It's part of the resolution, right?
I like it.
It works.
Same number.
That'll work
I'm
for
good.
us. And like Drew said, we can justify that sewer costs more.
Yep.
Or we'll just use it with electric.
If someone pushes back on the rate increase, you have legitimate numbers that you can present and say, this is why.
What did you say?
They were also pretty comparable increases because raising the water to 12,000 was about a 13.7% increase and raising the sewer is about 13.5% or something. So they're pretty close.
Yeah, compared to other towns.
And then what's the, you can reevaluate every so often.
Should every year.
Every year.
So.
And again, and this other parts of the BMUC is not aware of, but I have to be because in the council meetings, they're raising rates to customers too. So it's not like you're just sticking it to the developers, you're raising rates.
They're aware of that. They know about the 7-year plan.
Oh, they do know about the second?
Yeah, oh,
Okay,
yeah.
all
They know
right, I just want to make
They
sure.
know about the
So-
7-year plan.
You're raising rates across the board. You're saying, hey, we've got things going on, we're raising rates, so when a developer will come and complain, or a resident comes in, got all this development, now my water rates are going up. Hey, we just raised the fees on them by $3,000. Look, it's more expensive to do things.
It's worth the paying rent. All right, anybody else like to talk about the rates anymore, or can we move on
I
to?
think I'm good with that.
I think it's dead.
Yep, if it's stinking.
No, the sewer plant does not stink.
If it's running right.
It's been dead so long, it's stinking.
Policy for new builds.
Okay, so I was going to write a whole new policy that would explain exactly when everything was gonna be charged, so that the vet had something to justify when she's trying to collect these fees, and also something that we would potentially give to developers when they submit a site plan, just so they know when they're gonna pay what.
Well, are we talking about tap fees or are we talking about fixed fees?
Well, I was going to do one for all of that, but then Yvette pointed out that we already had utility billing policies and procedures that talk about, what the fixed fees are, why we pay them, or what they're based on, and then the usage charge as well, and when bills come out and all that kind of stuff. So if we just added one simple thing to it, this would probably satisfy what we talked about in the last meeting. So that would just be when we are gonna start charging the monthly, minimum fee to developers. Remember, we talked about that we put, that they might not be actually online yet, but sometimes it takes months for it to be built, and in the meantime, we have to ensure that we have fire protection for them. So I felt that, maybe it was just me, but I felt like it was very confusing what was decided at the end of the last meeting, because there was a lot of back and forth about it.
Yeah, I don't think we came up with anything firm. I think we made several recommendations, but I mean, I haven't read this yet, but I know Brunswick.
Can I break in just for a second?
Yes.
With the tap fees, I know you guys wanted to make something also, but if you, and I just read this today, if you look at the resolution, it does have any landowner, developer, or applicant applying for the town's water and sewer system shall pay to the town the following fees at the time of application and before any connection may be made. So that explains the tap, when the tap fees should be paid, correct?
Makes sense to me.
I mean,
There it is.
it's already in the resolution,
So then it's just when we're gonna start charging.
the fixed fee.
Yeah.
Yeah, the minimum fee should be up in order.
So
We
that's
just need
what
to add that.
was kind of confusing, but if you guys can make a decision on that, then I can just add it to the existing procedure and not have to create something brand new.
Do you all know when, like, if they are building a home, when they have the rough-in plumbing inspection done, you all know when that occurs?
No, we're out of that process. What we know is before they get the building permit.
If you turn to the second page, I just put something from a long time ago from the Alt 40. So this was in the minutes, and it says that the debt service payments at the same time, just talks about it in the blue. And it said that they started them even despite the actual hookup date. So do you see that? So they actually started charging that debt service before the connection.
You should start charging them water and sewer
So-
service the second that they apply for the building permit.
It's totally up to you. I think it's been done both ways. I'm just saying you can back up if you want to do it either way, because it's been done both ways before.
Okay, well, how about we just go from when they apply for the building permit, then that's when they have to start paying like a minimum fix. Because we don't know when they're doing the rough-in inspection, because technically.
That's why. That's why. We don't,
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a plumbing in the house, and that's generally when they're gonna start using water for like, you know, the basins and towels and stuff like that. But if when they apply for the building permit, that's gonna be our recommendation.
But weren't some of them applying for permits like months before?
yeah, and they were sent a bill for the water and sewer tap, but they don't get their permit until they pay.
But so they may pay their building permit. So when I see it approved, so now it'll show approved, Drew,
Mhm.
because Washington County will have received the money from them directly. So that building permit will be approved
Whether or not.
in the
they paid
system,
tap.
whether or not they paid the tap or not.
Yeah, but we could shut them down if they try to build something. If we need to. I mean, I check them.
So in a lot of cases, we're going to be charging fixed fees before we actually get the water and sewer tap fee. A lot of times now. But now we have backing, since I have the resolution saying that when they apply for it, and who gets that application? You do, right?
That's a zoning certificate.
When they apply for the water connection fee. So,
That's all done at the time of the building permit, yes.
so when they apply for it, the water and sewer connection, they need to, somewhere on that needs to state that this is due within 30 days.
Why would it be 30 days?
Well, because it's usually, we're on a 30-day, usually we give them 30 days to pay, so.
So typically, how long does it take from when they apply for the building permit to they start breaking ground on our house? What do we even care?
Well, they've been applying in batches,
Don't care.
haven't they?
Would you-
Share with the tap fee gets paid. That's when they're committed.
Do you think we can add that just on the connection application?
Sure.
I mean, wouldn't that solve the
When
problem?
payment of water and sewer tap fee is received, you will be entered into the billing system and start receiving quarterly bills.
Yeah,
I mean,
That's
that's
easy.
that's how it was when I built in 91. I'm just telling you, I had to pay everything and keep on moving along.
Drew, do you anticipate that that's going to backfire on us, that, okay, I'm not gonna pay for my tap fee until, I have.
No, because I go out there every day and I check with Yvette every time I see them dig a foundation. Before they even put any concrete in the ground, I come in and check with her. I said, did they pay all their fees? She gives me a thumbs up, a thumbs down. If they
So
get a
what-
thumbs down, I'll call them and say, you guys can't do anything. You don't have, you didn't pay your tap fees.
what comes first for you? So I really don't think they should get the zoning certificate. And so do they apply for the water and sewer tap fee first and then you issue the certificate, zoning certificate? Or how does that go?
So the zoning certificate, all right, I'll back up. In Washington County, with the exception of the city of Hagerstown, every other town uses the county's permitting people and uses their system. So the town passes a resolution that says, Washington County Permits is going to act as our agent to administer all permits. Because we don't have, how often would a plumbing inspector be called around? Not very often, right? So it makes total sense. Okay. The way that the county checks and makes sure that the town's aware of whenever somebody's applying for a building permit, because Tony could walk in tomorrow right into the permits office and apply for a building permit for his house. How does that get checked? As soon as they see the address and they check the address and it's in Boonesboro, the first thing they look for is a zoning certificate. That's what I issue. I issue that when they apply for a building permit. So they tell me they want to build this, they want to do this, they want to do this. I give them a zoning certificate and they present that to the county. That tells the county, oh, they paid all their stuff at the town. The town's okay with this. They've looked at it. They're good to go. We can go through the normal building permit process. What happens today is that, let's say Dean South comes in and they come in with a lot. They have a building application. I take the building application. I review it. I make sure that the house is where it's supposed to be. I make sure that it has a water and sewer certification that you all gave. And then what I do is I write a zoning certificate. At the same time I give a zoning certificate, I give an internal bill to Jesse and Yvette that says you need to bill these guys for tap fee and the meter cost. They send out a separate bill to the developer that says, you owe us this. Everybody follow that? Then they pay that, plus they pay the county for the permit fee, and then they start. Where it gets confusing is what these developers do, and they all do it. They'll come in and they'll apply for 12 or 14 building permits, but they don't know which ones are going to sell yet. They just want to get that process started. So they submit all these building permits. They get zoning certificates from me because it's valid. They get the tap fee bill from Yvette in the town. And then they sit on it until they have a buyer over there that wants to buy it. Then they'll pay the tap fee and the permit fees. That's what they do. I mean, that's just, they're not going to pay for something until they know they're going to get a return in a certain amount of time.
So would it be possible that before you issue a zoning certificate, they pay their tap fees.
You all could do that. You could say,
I think that's the way to go, because without that zoning certificate, they can't apply for a building permit in the county. Right?
Well, that's what it was.
I think that's the way that it should be.
that's up to y'all.
We did a little check-off sheet on that a while back, pretty much said the same thing.
Y'all want to do it that way, that's fine.
Because say you send the bill out today, how do you follow up that on that in 30 days?
I send another bill out, or I call the AP
You get a
office.
reminder in the system that it's not paid? I mean, how does that come back around?
I check the spreadsheet daily,
Okay.
but I just think if we held that zoning certificate hostage, that they would pay. Because they can't do anything without that zoning certificate.
The county won't process the
Won't
permit.
process any permit for them. Plumbing, mechanical, anything.
Well, I think that's where we need to be.
Good.
I really do. I mean, it's just.
I'm not opposed.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me either way.
I agree with you.
I-
Consensus, we looked at, yeah.
Want to do it, yeah, you don't.
All right, so we're gonna.
Plus, it'll also, if they're not interested, if it'll stop them from putting so many permits in the system that are just laying, just
Exactly.
sitting there,
Exactly.
you know?
How many zoning permits do we have in the system that doesn't pay the tax?
At
And
least 10 or
right,
12.
we have 5 for Richmond American Homes that are not paid. The rest are paid.
Does East today have any zoning permits?
Somebody said yes, I quit.
But you also have to realize,
I can't
now
think of
we're,
the people.
we're running past the sewer credits that Dean South has. So now we're really gonna be charging some nice tap fees. So we wanna, get them before.
I don't have a problem with that. The difference in the process will be I get the zoning application, I generate the fee, I send them a letter and said, everything looks good. You'll receive an invoice from the town. Once paid, I'll give you your zoning certificate. And you'll be entered into the building system. I can do it that way too. It doesn't matter.
And then they'll start, charging with the water minimum usage fee. At the
Yes.
same time. All right, so,
That's what I was gonna ask. That's my next question.
okay. All right, so how about make a motion? I'll make that motion, then we go with the recommendation that Drew had for the tap fees and the minimum, what do we call it, minimum usage fees. Fixed fees. And they need to have that paid before they get the
Zoning certificate.
building certificate. All right, second,
Second.
Chad or Nelson?
Yeah, Chad and Nelson.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nobody's opposed, motion carries.
So, follow-up question to that, do
Got a little.
we enforce this on Dean South as they're already underway, or?
Or does this have to be approved through the mayor and council for our recommendation?
I don't think that
I don't think the
This-
council-
what we're talking about right now, as far as when the fees need to be paid, I think that was more of an internal.
Right, that was just.
And we're gonna say all fees need to be paid, not just tap fees, because there's,
Do you think we'll have a
You don't want to say all
Problems.
fees.
mid
well, all town of Boonesborough
construction?
fees.
All town.
And then,
Those we know.
And then Drew can put them on notice at this point. There's
That's
been a
what I'll do.
policy- There's been a policy change. You know,
Dean
this is
North
what it
will
was
be okay.
yesterday, but starting today, this is our new
Yeah,
policy.
I can't do anything about the ones I've already issued, but
Right.
going forward,
Right.
I'll just send them a letter and just say, hey.
It's gonna start with Dean North, right? Well, up in
Well,
Well, they don't have.
no,
records.
it'll
Dean
continue with
South.
Dean South.
Yeah,
I mean,
Dean
Dean
South.
South only has
South,
17, open permits.
So I put money in the bank.
we're getting something done. All right, anybody else, comments, questions, concerns? You're up.
We're gonna start on the water side, it's running pretty smooth, for the past month. We did have, some leaks in the well aid and the Bridgeville work, man, I took care of them the other day, we're both fixing at full speed. Sewer side, we had, Connor came yesterday and finished putting in the other, effluent preventer in the O'Malley pump station. Still too early to tell on if that's gonna be good, if it's helping the other pump. But from the times that I got from yesterday till today, they both ran the exact same amount of time, so that has showed improvement, but I need more time to verify to be sure that it's going to do what it's supposed to do. Then moving on to the sewer plant, we have all kinds of problems with the bubble system and the influent room where all the waste comes in. That reads the level of the wet well, telling the pumps what level to operate at to pump over to the SPRs. For some reason, it wants to keep reading lower than what it is. I had it going for a couple weeks and then it acted up again. So yesterday I ordered some units. What I'm gonna do is cut the air line that goes off the bubble system down into the pit. I was thinking what could be the problem is it's clogged. So we're gonna cut the line tomorrow. I was trying to do it today, but I didn't get to use it in time. Cut the line, take a snake, put down in there, try to clear it out, hopefully that cures it. If it's not, I'm tired of dealing with this thing. So I talked to STH. Originally, I got a bid from them for $9,000 to replace it to a transducer. But they're so busy that they ain't gonna have time to come do nothing for months. So I worked out a thing with them, where they'll sell me the transducer if it comes to this. Sell me the transducer for $900, and then I only run the transducer and all the conduit and everything to the panel ourselves, and then they'll charge us $1,000 to come reprogram the computer and hook it all. So we'll get it for $2,000 instead of all this stuff. So, but I'll have to do the work in-house. So we can do it. We'll be able to do it. But I'm not saying that's a definite right now. I'm gonna see tomorrow what I do with the airline, if that's gonna work. So I'll be able to just keep continuing the bubble system. But I think that thing is getting to the near end of its life cycle. It's the original one that's in there, 17 years old. And I've been dealing with problems with it for the last 5 years on and off of the thing. And I've been dealing with it. This is the reason why I had to spend 32 hours straight in there a couple weeks ago. It's because I had to run it by hand because it wasn't reading. So I had to make sure the flows were still going. It was back in the water up into the filter loop. And you can't have that because it would destroy the whole booster panel system. Then we won't have nothing that would run the system to treat anything. So that was a faulty design on that plan on how they did that. But like I said, tomorrow we're gonna do that. I'll see how it goes. I'll let you guys know the next meeting. But if it doesn't work, I'm gonna go ahead and switch it over to transducers. That's why it's a lot less moving components, a lot cheaper. If you replace that bubble system up there, you're probably looking around at least $30,000-$40,000, somewhere in that area. But I can do this for $2,000, and it'll work just as good. And if it ever happens again, I'll keep a transducer in stock. I'll just switch it out, and it'll be a whole lot faster, and I don't have to call somebody to keep looking.
So they'll be able to come down and do the program they want.
They'll be able to, once I run all the transducer wire and all, run it in conduit. It'll cost us a little money to do it. I'll have to go rent some equipment to get through the walls and run board through it, but we can do that. It'll save us $7,000 to do that. So we're looking, that's what I'm looking at to do. If it doesn't work, it's just, it's just pretty much so I got the recommendation, and I talked to some people about this. They're all saying, like these types of transducers that they want to sell. It's what I'm using in pump stations. I don't have not had any issues with these pump stations. Reading perfectly levels and doing what it's supposed to do. So I'm thinking it'll be a great coming into the sewer plant. Like I said, over the longevity of it, it'll be a lot cheaper maintaining it, fixing it, easier to fix it. And it's just not, it's just get more out there. I just want to give you guys a heads up. But other than everything else besides, getting the young out of your stuff done, everything else on sewer sounds good.
I'd say move forward.
I'm going to, at the same time,
But you gotta keep working.
it's gonna take me a
Yeah,
while to
yeah.
get that all in, it'll take a few weeks to get that, get the transmission and get it all in.
Right.
Get them there. There were months, 3 months out to be able to even come fix the bumper system.
I know.
So, and then, but if I can get this thing working temporarily, I would. I'll switch it.
But even if the bumper system works, just start working for it.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what I want to
Either
do.
way. Makes sense. Where's Greg?
Well, we know what
Literally.
Greg, what do you got to say? So, anybody else have any questions, concerns? Bobby. Bobby? Make the motion.
That's your turn.
My turn this week.
Oh, whatever it takes. Get
I'll
it
make a
done.
motion that Bobby says we're done.
All right, give me a second.
Second.
All right. We're out of here.
Next week.
The Fletcher Road, oh yeah, I mean, every time we need to. You know,
I mean, he is.